all my ghosties. I know it has been a while, and I promise you I've been trying to sit there and make some more videos, but as a busy schedule and some other things that kind of got in the way, it took me a little bit to get to where I could make some. Now, I have been rewriting out a lot of my research to be put into this little clipboard, because honestly I like reading from the clipboard better than like a notebook. I also rewrote it better so it's a lot easier for me to read. I don't want to sit there and misspeak or mess up, because I do take this very professional. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Now I do have quite a list that I'm going to sit there and try to do, and I'm going to keep on trying to work through everything and get some more stuff done so I can try to make more of a habit, but I can't promise anything right now. I am trying my best. So if y'all can bear with me, I'd be much appreciated. I know I don't have very much of a following or viewers right now, but I'm hoping that'll start changing here in a little bit. The more videos I put out, but honestly, you never know. So right on here, I was sitting there doing research on like more famous ghost legends from quite a few different states. I have certain states that I'm looking up, and I'm working on getting through them. I don't know if I'm going to sit there and honestly read all from one state, if I'm going to read some from one state and some from another. Honestly, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I guess you'll have to sit there and watch the video to find out. But I am working on a lot of things that I am able to do from home, seeing as the prices of gas is kind of getting more expensive. I'm not really trying to sit there and go out and do too much. I might try to do some here in the future. I really got to sit there and make plans for that. But as of right now, most of my stuff is research and stuff that I've done from home. So, it's all kind of interesting, seeing as, I got some legends from, like, places like Savannah, Georgia, Louisiana, Las Vegas. So, I kind of put my whole perspective into it. So, if you will all sit back and pay attention, we can get right into it. So, from Savannah, Georgia, there is the Toby at Moon River Brewing Co. That'll be the first one that I'm reading. Honestly, it's kind of interesting, because it kind of puts the, not necessarily a sinister, I would say, but more of maybe a more playful ghost that might get some entertainment out of scaring, the living. So let's find out. It's no secret that Moon River Brewing Co. has its fair share of ghostly happenings. The brewery's sinister reputation can be traced back to one mischievous ghost, Toby, named by staff, likes to hang in the billiard room with customers. He has been known to shove them and knock their drinks down when they get in his way. Although he hasn't been linked back to a specific historical figure, he's made enough of an impact beyond the grave. They've created a beer called Apparition Ale, dedicated to Toby and the mysterious incidences in the building. Now, I will say this: if you want to hear more of anything that I sit there and read to you, by all means, comment, and I will sit there and start looking more into certain things that you might find interesting. I have no problem with that, and I'll make a video personally to that one. Or if there's more than one, I can make a video with more in-depth on whatever y'all want to hear more about. I have no problem with that. Honestly, I love hearing about them, and if maybe you have know of a legend that you might like to hear me sit there and talk about more of, by all means, please put that in a comment too. And I also don't mind sitting there reading personal experiences as well, or I might either set up like a personal email for this channel. I gotta put it into the description box, the Facebook page and the Instagram that I have for this channel. By all means, feel free to follow, and you can message me if you don't want to sit there and put your experiences in the comments below this video, I completely understand. And if you want me to sit there and put your experiences in a video, by all means, I'll keep you anonymous and we can sit there and go forward with that, but it's entirely up to y'all. So, the second one that I have is called Broken Hearted Anna. Said to be one of Savannah's oldest inns, 1790 Inn and restaurant is home to the ghost of Anna Powers. Anna lived there in the late 18th century. At that time, the inn was a house her father owned and rented out to sailors passing through. One of those sailors caught the eye and the heart of Anna. The two fell in love fast, but their love affair quickly turned into a lover's quarrel. After one nasty fight, Anna, in distress, jumped out of the second floor window to her death. Her broken heart still haunts the building, particularly couples who stay in the room 204, her old room. Anna's spirit makes her presence known by switching the lights and fireplace on and off, as well as locking and unlocking doors. Now, I did remember that I followed a YouTuber that has gone to that. I don't think they really got too much from that encounter. I would love to go and see that because I heard it is actually a very beautiful building. You know, aside from the ghostly happenings, it's actually not a bad place to stay. Now, if you can sit there and stay in a place and handle the paranormal hauntings, by all means, I encourage you to go do that. Because I know I definitely would. Okay, what are we gonna do? Do I want to read this one? Or do I want to hide it? I try to keep my videos pretty following along. There's a lot of times that I might sit there and skip around and I don't really think about it until last minute. I do have a bit of ADHD, so that does tend to fall into that. In the future, I hope to get my stuff a little more organized, but as of right now, I am trying to get as much together as possible. This one is from Las Vegas, Nevada, you know, the following Sin City, that honestly I wholeheartedly believe that there's a lot more hauntings there, but not nearly as recorded or reported necessarily, but honestly it is, you know, I would love to go over there and talk to some of the locals, the people that live out there, and see what if they've experienced anything, if they've seen anything, you know. I love talking to locals of different states about things because you honestly have no idea what they might come up, because there may be things that they've, you know, kept within their families or close friends and not necessarily got found by people. Planet Hollywood. Of all the resorts in Vegas, Planet Hollywood may seem least likely to be the most haunted. However, one must look past the rather normal resort of today to find where its spirits originated. Before it was Planet Hollywood, the site was the Aladdin and Arabian-themed hotel that once hosted legends like Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra. The ethereal figurehead of the Panorama Suite has yet to leave clues to its identity, though it's not shy about showing some signs of its presence. Disembodied voices and unsettling footsteps have been among the common complaints. Guests believe that other rooms throughout the resort are haunted as well. They all share one thing: they're all on the 7th floor. That's an interesting thing. I know Nevada is probably pretty expensive, but it'd be awesome to sit there and have a room on the 7th floor and to see it honestly. If maybe I could sit there and be the one to figure out who was haunting there and who was not. Maybe in the future. The Luxor. There's a local legend about the Luxor in Vegas' pyramid-shaped resort. During the pyramid's construction, several workers were killed. Like many deaths that occur on the Strip, the truth behind their untimely passing was never revealed. While the lack of closure could bind the deceased to the property, others believe they have replicas of actual Egyptian artifacts that... Hold up. That wasn't such a great idea. The recreations of King Tut's tomb and the former Nile River tour may have come at a price, and the guests are unknowingly paying. It would certainly explain the unusual number of suicides the property is known for. Could the poltergeist of room 30018 have been a victim of the Luxor's curse? Or were there one of the many who leapt from the interior balconies? Now that's an interesting thing. I would love to go have a conversation with some of them. I do remember that I followed some people on YouTube that had actually went to the Luxor. You know, they've also heard about the many suicides and deaths that were circling that one specifically. And I've seen some of the inside, and it looks pretty cool as a pyramid-shaped hotel. But honestly, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know how I'd feel about it, honestly, because it is very high, and I don't do very well in heights. But I think they actually picked up something interesting, but I don't remember. I haven't watched that video in a little bit. But even they said that the whole vibe of that hotel was very interesting alone. So, that would be an interesting place to have an investigation in. But I do know that they're probably expensive, and I wouldn't want to go to a place like that without like paying for a room and stuff. So I don't know how that would go about, but it would definitely be an interesting investigation to try and get through. Okay, the Cromwell. Though opened in 2014, the Cromwell's lot was once home to the Banbury Coast in 1979. It's likely then that this relatively smaller property racked up its bounty of spirits. Unusual to typical hauntings, the species of the Cromwell aren't all physically bound to our realm. Rather, guests complain of having their thoughts altered in uncomfortable and often horrifying ways in terms of haunts. It takes a strong entity to alter the mental state of the living. That is very true. Alright. While there are no verified causes for such a devilish ghost, Vegas, in a city brimming with secrets, maybe uncovering these secrets would also reveal the fiend known for scratching from within the walls. Perhaps that's just another trick of the mind. That one's interesting as well. There's quite a few of these. Like, okay. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. The eyes you feel upon you while walking through Madame Tussauds aren't just a gut reaction to the eerie statues. While an argument could be made that some of the statues have attracted their now deceased counterpart, the site has a history dating to before the wax invasion. Where the adjoining Venetian resort now stands, the historic Sands Hotel and Casino once thrived. A common hangout for the Rat Pack, the 1960s property became a favorite for Vegas socialites. Even in death, it seems many have returned to relive the heyday of Sin City. Perhaps some even have wax statues of themselves, which they've attached to. See, that one's interesting. Because I wholeheartedly believe that if you make a wax figure of somebody, it very well could attract their spirit. Because, you know, and I think there was a rumor that some of them had actual pieces from their counterparts there. But in all honesty, I wouldn't say I believe it. I'd have to look that video up again in all honesty to remember it. But I really do think that like a lot of them are at least visited sometimes by their counterparts. I wouldn't say they're attached, but I believe that they, you know, like, would at least visit them sometimes. But I don't know how true that is. I'd love to go in there though and get a spirit box session and totally see what I catch. Now it would be very creepy because I believe wax statues are very weird, and you know, mannequins themselves are very weird. But in my opinion, it'd be worth it to put up with all that eerie feeling just to sit there and see if I can catch something. Another one I like is the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum. I would love to go. That is one of my biggest dreams because Zach Bagans is such an influential person to the paranormal world, and he kind of, I feel like, kick-started all of the paranormal YouTubers we have now, because a lot of them have probably seen Zach Bagans, and you know, if they're as obsessed with the paranormal as I am, like, you will live to watch that show, honestly. Las Vegas locals love to drive past this infamous mansion just for a chance to glimpse its most vile spirit lingering by a window. The beautiful and spiraling estate has a history of nefarious owners, including mob enforcer Tony the Ant Spilaro, I don't really know how to pronounce that one. No stranger to murder and splatters of blood, the mansion has absorbed years' worth of negative energy. It's enough for a ne'er-do-well from the other side to feed from for the strength needed to face the living threats. And obscurities have been flown by the resident spirits, with female guests taking the brunt of the activity. One owner even claimed to have been choked by the entity. La Plaza's real history is gruesome and incomplete. Many of its secrets were hidden in secret kill rooms, which were uncovered during later renovations. Now that's frightening. Very intriguing, though. I actually am not surprised that Zach has that kind of history, or has something that has that kind of history. That just kind of, you know, if you know anything about Zach Bagans, it totally fits for who he is. But you'd have to really, and I mean really, go back into his history and look for everything that he's done. I know I just watched a video on one of the YouTubers I follow, and they had went to a house in Beverly, in California, that Zach himself had been in years before, and he likes to antagonize them sometimes, which I'm not condoning. I don't like to antagonize spirits because you never know what you could get. I wholeheartedly believe that you have to come with a lot of respect, or you are literally asking for them to come and mess you up. But apparently he didn't even last long in there, and I'd love to watch that piece of his show. But who does not have it complete on their stuff? I'd have to figure it out. But yeah, I would love to go visit that one too, because apparently that is very much a charged house and has a lot of hauntings and sightings and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Zach couldn't last, I think, no more than 3 hours, because he was either getting a lot from that house alone, or he just couldn't sit there anymore. I mean, the dude said that he made it clear that he got enough evidence, but in all honesty, I don't feel like he would admit if he had an issue or not. But do I believe he also got a lot of evidence? Yes. But like I said, I would have to sit there and look that episode up and honestly look and see what he caught there. Not that I have a problem with that. But yeah, I guess for right now, I don't think there's another. Oh wait, I can read this one. Okay. In Savannah, Georgia, they do have a ghost cat, and they call it the Davenport feline. The Isaiah Davenport House is a popular stop when visiting Savannah, Georgia, and it was just as popular when it was first built. The house has hosted up to 11 different families, and while their ghosts may still reside in their old rooms, the most famous spirit strolls on 4 legs. The Davenport cat is an orange and white tabby. This famous feline dashes between the different rooms in the house. The Davenport cat is particularly fond of the younger visitors. You can take home a plush toy of the Davenport feline sold in the gift shop. There wasn't much on it. I honestly might make a longer video about that, but I just love ghost cats. I mean, I'm a big lover of cats anyway, but I just think it's so cute. Like, you can, like, forever see it. Like, it doesn't get old. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't get hurt. It just stays in cat form all the time, playing and, you know, running about. I think that's the cutest thing ever. So, any one of these that you want to hear more about, by all means, you can message me on any of the pages I put in the description box, or you can put a comment under this video on YouTube, and we will definitely sit there and I will work on it. You all have a good night though, and it's been fun.